Hello and welcome to You Are Human, a show attempting to decode human potential and possibilities by bringing you real stories, real heroes. In our lives, we play so many different roles and we perform so many different responsibilities. As a child, we are so consumed by educating ourselves. And when we grow up as an adult, we spend our entire life working. Yes, the majority of our life is spent making a living. And it is so unfortunate that billions of us dread going to work. And there are some chosen few who absolutely love what they do and they do what they love. Welcome, Joe Spraggan, who is one of those chosen ones.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I think we have also spoken about doing this podcast for a while. Yeah, and it's finally happening.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
There's something that I've noticed about you, Joe, and this is something I have personally witnessed because I have come to F45 for a few months, and whenever I would see that there's a session going on and Joe is, the coach for that session, I would be super excited because you are so focused and in the moment. Anybody who is working out, you look at them and you're like, okay, this is not right. I need to, get this thing right from this person. Or if the other person is doing it so well and you're like applauding to that person. So there's not even a single moment that I have noticed that you are somewhere else. You are 100% present over there. And in all of the sessions that I have been fortunate enough to attend with you, it's the same. How do you do that?
I find myself just being, as you say, very present, very in the moment. I love what I do, as you say. I find that when I'm in the studio, I'm definitely like in that zone. And it's sometimes you find yourself in that element and in that
Right.
energy where everything just floats. And the studio and with exercise and with clients is a place where that happens for me. Just one of those flow zones where everything is just, I guess, the energy, and I just notice a lot of things, and I just become very much in the moment of where I am. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you see in us? When you see us, what do you see in us?
I guess people are like a puzzle to me, and the exercise, the movements that people are doing are a puzzle that I can fix. So the way that people are moving and the way their bodies are moving, the way the movement happens is something that I can analyze in that moment and that I can communicate and correct.
Right. So we are all puzzles. At the end, people say philosophically, life is a puzzle. But even workout wise, we are puzzles. So is this something that you as a teenager or when you were growing up, was this thing in your mind that, yes, once I grow up, I want to be a personal trainer, or did it just happen?
So I was relatively late to start with exercise in the gym. Growing up, I mostly did things like skateboarding and outdoor sports and things like that. But I never went to a gym until I was 19. I was one of those gym is not for me people until I was that age. From that age, I practiced in the gym religiously for a few years. And it became something that I really became quite passionate about. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so it just happened.
Yeah, it just became something that I practiced and really enjoyed. Yeah, and it just sort of happened itself.
What did you study?
When I was at university, I studied guitar making.
Wow.
So a little bit different. I was very musical when I was growing up, so I just found something that I really was passionate about. And that was really great. That was, while I was at university, that was a really fun thing to be studying. And it was really, I really enjoyed it. It was really nice to make almost a piece of art out of raw materials that people could then make music with, which was really rewarding in its own way.
Yeah. But then why didn't you opt for it? Because if you studied it, and I'm sure you would have got a job in it, right?
Yeah, so
And did you ever work in that field?
Yeah, I did. Once I left university, I sort of had a small workshop and I was making instruments for people actually all over the world. So people were ordering ukuleles, guitars from me through the internet, which is amazing. But it became quite a lonely or solitary job. And it was just me and some bits of wood just working away. And I kind of looked at myself at that time and I thought, is this really how I want to spend my youth? Is it how I want to spend my 20s? And realistically, at that time, I need people around and I needed excitement and fun. And so my passion, I looked at that and thought, how can I make this into a profession?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But that's great because we enjoy your sessions, and I think you're doing so fabulous as a
Thank you.
personal trainer and as a coach. So I think you're in the right place, and
Thanks.
and you're so mindful and present, while you do it. So I think it's the right thing for you,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But would you
I
want to
love it.
go back to? Yes, that's great. But would you want to go back to guitar making at any point? Would you think that you would be doing that?
Yeah, I could see myself when I'm a bit older, maybe in retirement, in the garden, in a shed with some wood. And then maybe that could be something that I go back into. I think in terms of personal training, it's maybe, it has a kind of end frame. I would say it's a very active role. And I think there
Right.
would be a time where I might say, I've had enough of this energetic
Yes.
lifestyle. I want to settle down a little bit and do
Yeah.
something else that I love.
Slow down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Definitely.
The old man in
Yeah.
his garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure even when you'd be old, you'll still be fit. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Because I think fitness is a way of life. These days everybody is talking about fitness,
Mhm.
and we're all looking for those short-term crash courses, like
Yeah.
in 10 days lose 10 kgs. But I think it's supposed to be a way of life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the holistic lifestyle that is needed to become healthy is kind of different from fitness, right? So
Yeah.
we want to build into that, making your whole life into that big picture. And I think the workout is just one part of that. I think the healthy lifestyle is definitely a broader picture, and it's something that is becoming more present in fitness now. And people are
Right.
really looking at like what fitness is as a whole, rather than just the exercise that kind of gets you the body that you might want.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, and I think that's becoming more prominent in fitness now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We know the ways to keep healthy physically. What do you do personally to keep healthy mentally and emotionally?
Yeah, so this was an interesting one for me actually, because for a long time I was very into my yoga. Really like the breathing and the moving meditation that can bring. But I realized a few days ago that I kind of had lost my practice a little bit and lost my way. And I was thinking to myself, how do I do this? Like, what has replaced that? And I realized that part of that has been replaced by spending time with my dogs, which is a weird thing to say, but I find that like spending time with them, they have a real childlike
Yes,
quality. They have a
yes.
real natural quality, and
Yeah.
there's something different about the way children and animals interact with adults,
True,
right? And
true.
they're very much like in the moment.
Yeah.
They're hilarious because they just do really crazy things all the time.
Yeah.
And you, by watching them and by spending time with them, you kind of take on that kind of mindful personality,
Right.
and become more in the moment and become
Yes.
like that energy that they have as well.
True.
Even if you're not acting it, your
Yeah.
brain starts to think like, that's so funny, like I want to
Yeah.
be more like this. And
Yeah.
you can really exist in their presence and be absorbed by that as well. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of something that has brought me a little bit more grounded recently. But I definitely am going to get back into my yoga practice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting, when you talk about dogs and children. My brother has a baby boy, and now he's been blessed with a baby girl. And when we were in the States, I remember like there were times because I'd quit my job, and I would just go like be a little upset. But seeing him, like he does not care
Yeah.
about whatever is happening. Food has been cooked, not
Yeah.
been cooked. The stock market is going down, or things are going wrong outside. It's snowing. For him, it's just like, okay, let's play puzzles. Okay, let's play blocks.
Yeah.
It's just like every moment, as you said, they live every moment, and they don't judge.
No.
It's
just life.
It's
They're just enjoying life.
They're just enjoying life.
Yeah.
And that's why it is said, right, that we have to be, we have to keep the child alive in us.
For
Otherwise, we
sure.
will be those grumpy, stressed people,
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. You are, I think you're new to the country, correct? It's been what, 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. So
Yeah.
relatively new. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with 6 months of lockdown.
Yes,
It's been
yes.
even newer.
Yeah, and with F45, because I recollect, like I think you guys just celebrating your 2nd year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations,
Thank
firstly,
you,
for that.
thank you.
We're so happy that F45 is here because it's
Yeah.
a fabulous studio. I've had my great time, over there.
Yeah.
But as a new business, because it's a new business, new place, the pandemic, and as you said, for 6 months, gyms, salons, they were hit so terribly.
Yeah.
And you're the first people to close and the last ones to start.
Mhm.
Now, as I said, new place, new business, pandemic. How did you cope up with it? How did you deal with it?
So first of all, Oman was a great place to start a new business. Like it was a fantastic time to be here. And the first year we were more successful in many ways than we could have imagined that we would be. I feel like we're coming into fitness in Oman. There's definitely a real emerging market.
Right.
People are learning a lot. People are a lot more exposed to information. They're really enjoying doing different things and trying new things, and that's been an amazing journey for us. And the first year was incredible. Like we really had such a big following, I suppose, in terms of our members, in terms of people talking about what we were doing, and it was really, really great. And the 6 months closure was challenging. It was difficult. We still run our online things. But you kind of just got to go with it, right? There's nothing you can do to control what's going to happen or what is happening. You just have to work through it and make the most of the situation. And we kept our coaches going with our online live classes. We still had members who were paying for the online stuff, which was fantastic. And they really supported us through it. And then coming out of it, we had a period where people were kind of like easing in, unsure, like figuring it out, seeing what was happening. But with the protocols that we have in place, the cleaning, the spacing, masks, and everything that we can control, people felt very comfortable, very confident with what we were doing, and actually the business has picked right back up again. So we're very, very lucky to have the support from the franchise and also the support from our members too.
Right. I think in this time, it's important to support one another, you know, and even I run every week a segment called Being Vocal for Local. So also promote local businesses, because if we're not there for each other, I mean, it doesn't make sense when we order things from outside when we can find the same things here in Oman. So I think we have to stand united, you know, with one another and support one another in these times, at least. Because when the market is good, when everything is good, of course, there are tourists coming, but this is the time when nobody's coming. So it's just us for each other. Okay, on a lighter note, I have a this or that segment. It's this or that. So I'm going to give you two options, and you can pick whatever that you think works for you.
All right.
Alrighty. Embrace yourself.
I'm nervous.
No, it's going to be easy. All right. So what do you enjoy more, cardio or weightlifting?
Weightlifting.
Really?
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
You sweat more.
No thought
you
about
burn
that one.
more. Yeah, that's great. What diet do you personally recommend? Keto or intermittent fasting?
Neither. Both. They're very individual. So I would say that different diets work for different people at different times. So I wouldn't say one or the other is better or worse. Discuss it with whoever you're working with and figure it out.
But is there any diet that you follow?
I like to eat within a calorie range, and I like to control my macros. But the food that I consume inside those macros might fluctuate. So eat to the macros that are going to give you the goal that you want is my best advice.
I eat everything that I want to.
Which is great also.
Yeah, I can't do diets at all.
No, and if that's your thing, then that's fantastic.
You know, counting calories, it's like, why are we living if you have to count calories? But then, I mean, it has a lot of benefits as well. So I'm not trying to promote anything, guys. Like, do what you want to.
Enjoy your food.
Yes, enjoy your food. So what would make you happy? Burger and fries or soup and salad?
Burger and fries. For sure.
Yay! That would be my answer too. Vegetarian burger and fries. What would you enjoy more? A room full of workout equipment or a room full of guitars?
A room full of workout equipment, because you only really need one guitar.
Yeah.
And you can do everything with workout equipment.
Okay. For an evening distress, you know, what would you go for? An hour of meditation or half an hour with the dogs?
Definitely the dogs.
Yay!
Yeah, the dogs every time. They always de-stress. They always chill you out.
Yeah. They're amazing. I love dogs. My mom does not allow me to keep a pet. She's like, we already have you. Why do we need anything else?
Well, you can come over and see our dogs whenever you want.
I thank you so much. Thank you. Yay. So I'm going to come see them. Joe, 7th April is World Health Day. Okay. And this year's theme is trying to bring fairer and healthier opportunities for everyone, because the world is so unequal, right? What do you think of this theme, and do you think we can achieve health wise equality in the world?
Good question, and a fantastic message. I think equality is definitely important, especially in health. From my professional opinion, I can discuss fitness, which is one of the pillars of health. So
Right.
in order to
Right.
achieve health, fitness has to be there. And then there's obviously other things that
Yes.
are less in my realm of expertise, shall we say. So I would say in terms of fitness, fitness is one of the great ones because we don't need equipment to be fit.
Yeah.
We have all the equipment we need, which is just our body.
Right.
And our minds. And with a small amount of knowledge, you can make a big change in your fitness and in the body. There's a lot of things we can do without equipment. So I think the more that we become accessible to knowledge, and the more that people become, social media, we've got podcasts, we've got a lot of things that we can see now for free as well. So there's a lot of exposure to free information on workouts and on the way to get fit, on improving your nutrition and leading a more healthy lifestyle. I feel like that accessibility helps to broaden the divide of inequality. So I feel that the more we can expose people to the correct information, obviously there's a lot of information out there, so still choosing it is hard, but the information is there like it hasn't been before. So in terms of fitness, in terms of opening people up to new experiences and to different ways of training, especially things like body weight, especially nutrition plans that don't mean fancy diets or expensive diets. It means that now we don't necessarily have to pay a professional to access all of that information, where once we would have had to. And I think that's invaluable. That's so achievable for many people now, and becoming more and more achievable for more and more people. So I think that in terms of fitness, we can get closer to that. Obviously, there's a way to go, and education is the way. But in terms of finding the information, I think that is becoming more and more accessible to people. So I think that's really helpful.
Yeah. And what you rightly said, that information has become so easy today to access to, and we can even connect with so many more people. Like today, if you go to Instagram or YouTube, there are so many people who are trying to educate whatever worked for them. And there are so many pages, blowing up, and people following them, and people actually benefiting from them.
For sure.
So I think we're technology wise, I think we're in a great age, to if we use it the right way. Okay, so the last one, according to you, from your own personal experiences, what are your 5 ways or tips or exercises, whatever you choose? Okay, you have the liberty. 5 things that you would want to share that, if done consistently and correctly, will help everyone, because we are doing this podcast even to be in sync with World Health Day. So what is it, the last thing that you want to give to all of us who are watching and listening, that we could implement and actually see the results?
Sure. So the first one is goal setting and tracking. So it's important to know where you want to be. It's important to know where you're going. If you don't have a goal, you always end up floating around, not really achieving anything. So set yourself a goal. Make sure it's achievable. Make sure it is what you want. That not to say that your goal can't change as you progress towards it. You might completely U-turn and decide that's not actually your goal when you get halfway there. That's fine too. But make sure that you have a place to go and a reason for being there. Secondly, with that is tracking your goal progress as well. So just make sure that you're keeping a track on what you're achieving, which way you're going, whether you're going closer to your goal, whether you're becoming further away from your goal. Again, either way is fine, but we just need to know what's happening and the reasons for why. Secondly is consistency. So just stay consistent. Whatever you choose your goal to be, whatever you choose your plan to be, make sure that you are consistent to that plan for a length of time. There's a lot of diet fads, a lot of things that people follow. You last 2 weeks, I'm not really getting what I want, and then you turn and change and try something new. That way is the way to never reach your target, because you're always going to change what you're doing before you have a chance to get there. So commit to something. Spend 4 weeks, spend 8 weeks, spend 12 weeks on that same journey and see what the progress is. Maybe you get to 8 weeks, you get to 12 weeks and it's still not taking you to your goals, and maybe you can reassess your journey and the way there, but make sure you're spending enough time for your body to start to adapt. That's what I would advise. Next is accountability. So being accountable is very important, whether it's for yourself, whether it's having a friend or a mentor who's going to be there to be accountable for you. Check in, make sure that you're doing what you set out to do, and make sure you're taking those steps that you said you would. Often we can reflect on ourselves and say, have I really done what I said I would this week? And you're like, oh, maybe I've done half, maybe I've done some. Again, never reflect on it negatively, never think of it in a bad way. Just reflect on it in a sense of, was it right? Was it wrong?
Right.
How can I do better next time? Or pat yourself on the back because you've done the right thing, So figuring that out as well. Next is just enjoying what you're doing, because no one will do anything that you're not enjoying. So make sure you're enjoying the training, make sure you're enjoying the progress and the process of getting there, because fitness should be fun. The journey should be enjoyable. And if it's not enjoyable, then you have another reason to just drop off when it gets tough. And it does get tough. So,
yes, it does.
So enjoy it. And lastly, but not least, is recovery. Make sure that you're giving yourself enough recovery. And nutrition is part of that recovery process. Make sure you're resting enough, that you're not overtraining. Overtraining can be one of those ways to sneakily slow you down. Even though you think you're doing the right thing, just make sure you're recovering as much as you need. Listen to your body and just have fun.
Just have fun. Yes, don't go crazy about it. It's okay. Life is beautiful. Having 2-3 extra pounds doesn't make you less of a human. So, Yes, that's great. Thank you so much for these tips. So goal setting and tracking.
Next is
accountability. Consistency. Accountability. Enjoy what you're doing. And recovery. Rest it out.
There we go.
See? There we go. And I think if everybody follows this, we have an equal health for each one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are in the theme. We have the solution for this year's theme as well. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for sharing your personal experiences and your life with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
It's
you.
been great.
Yay, this is awesome. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If it has inspired you, even slightly, then please like, share, and comment. See you on the next one. Until then, remember, our time is limited. Let's make the most of it.